Okay, so I'm going to start with the PowerPoint, just kind of give you some type of agenda. I'm going to go through the PowerPoint like slide by slide, and it's really screenshots of pictures from setting up the gradebook. And I have arrows pointing to things like click this, click here. I even have some in order, like 1, 2, 3, click this first, click that second. So what I really want to have the focus of this be is how to set your gradebook up so that you have weighted assignments. Most people have their syllabus set up that way, that they have, homework worth 20%, quizzes worth 5%. That's basically going to be the focus of this. And then I'm hopeful that I can get you all into this course. Right now, I think I have you all registered in this course, and have you create some of these categories and put some of the pre-existing assignments in the correct categories. So then the grade book will reflect the proper weight. So what does that mean for you? That means that you don't have to calculate the grade book anymore. You don't have to say, what's the average of 95, 90, 85, and 50. The grade book will do that for you. And another thing that is dear to my heart is that our students know where they stand at all times. When you use the grade book, there's no surprises at the end of the course with a student saying, how did I feel this course? Because they can see in the grade book that they're not fulfilling the assignments. Okay, so on that note, I'm going to pull up the PowerPoint, share my screen. So starting at the beginning, so today we're going to learn to set up the gradebook using weighted assignments, and this will help it to sync with your syllabus. So some of the questions that we always get about is how does using the gradebook support student success? Well,
are you supposed to be sharing the PowerPoint with us now, because it's not showing?
It's not.
No.
Your navigate screen.
Your blue jean screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me go back.
Blue jeans, rather. Yes, sorry.
Stop sharing, share. Oh, now I can pick my PowerPoint. Right. Now can you see it? It says my PowerPoint?
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So we all know that students benefit from feedback. It helps them to know what they did wrong, what they did right, what they should continue to do, and hopefully how to improve their performance. So there's 3 steps that you should take, and that's telling students what they did well, what they need to improve on, and how they can make this improvement. So it can take a variety of forms. It can be formative, summative. It can be through an individual group. You can have coded comments. I know Eric has coded comments. He has like special signs he makes, this P for spelling. So whatever it is, whatever that you're doing to give your students the feedback that they need is so helpful. And again, a rubric. But even though this detailed feedback is so important, the most important thing is that it be timely. Because if you're not giving them feedback in time for them to improve, it's almost worthless. Can't tell you how many end of course surveys I read where a student will complain that they didn't see a single grade until the last week of the course. And we don't want that to happen. So from your course page on the left-hand side, and I don't want you to go there now, I'm just going to kind of explain what it looks like. What you would do is select grades from the left-hand side menu. So that's, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but that's on the left-hand side here. If you do not see this menu bar in your course, then click on these white lines on the left-hand side of the blue bar, that's a collapsible menu that will make this menu open and close. So if you don't see it, click those white lines, then click Grades. From Grades, on these tabs in the middle, the second thing you need to do is select Setup and then select Gradebook Setup. Okay, so you have to do it in order: Grades, Setup, Gradebook Setup. Now we want to tell the course that it's going to have weighted assignments, because otherwise it's just going to aggregate them and add them up naturally. So where it says the course name in your course, and my course for this demonstration is called Gradebook 101, you go to the edit bar that is to the far right and you select Edit Settings. Then a pop-up box will open. You want to tell that course how you want it to aggregate the grades. So we're going to tell it that for the overall scheme of the course, we want the weighted mean of grades. Then select Save Changes. Then you would create your categories. So I have a mock syllabus in this e-learning course. And for this mock syllabus, I have that quizzes are worth 5%, discussion forums are worth 15%, homework 20%. I have a final project that consists of both a paper and a PowerPoint, 30% for the paper, 20% for the PowerPoint, and I also have a final exam for 10%. So these are the categories that you would have, likely similar categories, in your syllabus. So then you need to make sure that it adds up to 100. The gradebook will not do that for you. You can overdo your categories. It will do something for you, but it won't be correct. So just make sure that it adds up to 100. So I just quickly go through. 5 and 15 is 20, plus 20 is 40, plus 30 is 70, plus 20 is 90, plus 10 is 100. So I add up to 100. So then we're going to create our first category. So we would select, I think I went out of order here. Or I missed a slide. I apologize, but you would create a category, and under that category on the top left-hand side, top right-hand side, the first thing you want to do is select Expand All. That will open up all these items here that might be hidden. And the next thing you do is you name your category. So my first category was quizzes, and I enter how much the weight is here, just so that I remember when I'm working on my gradebook, I can visually see right away by the title of the category that I've entered what the weight percentage is. So next, you enter how you want it to aggregate. So remember, at the course level, we told it we wanted the weighted mean of grades. So now, under aggregation, it says natural by default, but we want to change that to mean because we want to know the average of 100 and 90 and 85. Otherwise, it will add it up. So for instance, if a student had 3 quizzes and he had an 80 and 80 and 80, that would add up to 240. So that is what the student would see. It would see 240 out of 300. That might be confusing for them. It's better for them just to see what the average is. It's better for them just to see they got an 80. They have an 80 average. The next thing you want to select is if you want to exclude empty grades or include them. And I'll go into that more in a future slide, but I would say to select exclude empty grades for now. So I would select exclude empty grades. And then you just go right down to here to the weight. And here you can enter what the weight is. Now I tell people to put 0.05 for 5%, rather than put 5 and the percentage sign. So use the decimal system, use 0.05. And then press Save Changes. So after you've created each of those categories, then make sure that those weights are correct. If you don't see these weighted boxes here, then go back to the course level grade, where it said grading 101, the title of the course, go back there and make sure that it is set to weighted mean of grades. Then you'll see that nice box pop up where you can make sure that they're correct. And see, this is why I said write it in the label, what it is, so that you can easily check. You don't have to refer back to your syllabus. You see it right here. Quiz is 5%, it says 0.05 here. Discussion forums 15%, it says 0.15. Homework assignments 20%, it says 0.20. Okay, everybody following along so far?
Yes.
Okay, any questions so far?
Lisa has one.
So
Okay.
Bonnie, we pick, we're in the course. We pick grades from the left-hand menu. Got that.
Mm-hmm.
Then we say setup, and that takes us to Gradebook setup. Correct?
Right.
And okay, I just tried it in a course, and it's already got a bunch of weights assigned to everything, every activity involved in the course.
Okay, what are you in your own course?
Yes.
Okay, you may have already filled them out.
No, I never did.
Okay, are they set to like ones?
They're set, there's a bunch of different things, and the maximum grades, except on things to do with exam where I did set points, they're automatically set to 100, and just about everything is set for each 100 points, it's 8.803 is the weight. That's just there. I could change the weights, but I don't see where I'm going to go in and say, these are the 5 things I want you to count.
I think that's because you don't have categories set up. So it is telling you that you have
Right.
8.083. Every
Yeah.
assignment is worth that much. And I forgive my math, but
Yeah, no, it's okay. But then there must be a different thing I do to set up categories.
right, you have to select create category at the bottom of the gradebook setup.
It's not there.
Okay. Can we wait till the end, Steve?
Yeah, okay, no, fair enough. I'll
And
try another course too, but
yeah,
I'm just
wait till
wondering why it's not looking like what you're showing us. That's all.
we can go into your course and look at it specifically that way. We'll have you share your screen, okay?
Okay.
Bonnie, when you said create category, is that the same as the slide 2 slides ago where it says add category at the bottom?
Right. See, it's actually on this screenshot here.
There it is,
Right.
yeah.
Add category.
Got it.
And
So you would
Bonnie,
select-
sorry.
And Bonnie, this is Mark. Probably for Steven, I don't know if it's doing it automatically for him. That's what I'm guessing. He's probably got 12 assignments in there. So it's
That's what I
breaking
was-
it down to 8.08% for each of them.
Thanks.
Yeah,
That's what I was trying to
100%.
get my math to work. Like
Yeah,
how much?
no, I think that's exactly what's happening, but
Yeah.
okay, I do see an add category option now. Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Right.
So
And
Bonnie,
Steve-
can I ask a question?
Yes.
So in the when you're expanding it and after you name the category and put in the name percentage and then the aggregation you said to change to the mean, would that be if only you have multiple assignments that are the same? Like, do you have to do that if you have all different assignments and you only have one of each assignment, then you would not have to do that, correct?
if you had like 20 categories and one assignment under each category, no, you could keep it at natural. But unless you have a reason to have, like I could have had final project worth 50% and broken it down that the paper is worth 30 and the presentation is worth 20. That adds up to 50. So I could say final project 50%, but instead I chose to break it down.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Bonnie, it's Hilda. I have one more question.
Okay.
So I don't set up my grades, so I say, paper worth 20%, exams worth 40%. I assign a number of points to each thing, and then they're going for a total of, say, 550 points. And so one of the problems I have is that when students go in and they take an exam and it's worth 40 points, but then the system tells them, oh, you got 90%. Is there a way for me to avoid that? Or should I just change my whole grading scheme instead to this kind of a thing?
No, some people wait. I worked with Wayne Ginio, and he weights instead of categories, he weights assignments. So just like you said, he said, this is a small quiz. It's worth 20 points. This is a big quiz. It's worth 60 points. But if you tell a student they got 38 out of 40, that doesn't mean anything to them. They need to know that a 38 divided by 40 equals a percentage. So when they're seeing a 90%, that's good because they don't get a 38. They think 38's bad. When they see a 38, they think that's bad, unless they're a math major. But I would say 90% or a high percentage of our students, if they got a 38 on a quiz, they're not realizing that it's 38 out of 40, so they did pretty good. They're thinking I got a 38.
I'm having the opposite problem where they're thinking, oh, good, I got 90 on my exam. I'm doing great. And the reality is that, no, they only, earned 20 points so far to the whatever they're. Anyway, okay. Thank you.
Okay, but I understand how you do it. Wayne does it the same way. He has it, his grade book adds up to 1,200 points. So, and he has assignments worth, 80, 100, but so every assignment is individually weighted. But I do know students do find that confusing.
And this system isn't capable of handling individually weighted, I gather.
It is, but then you're getting into where it's getting more robust and a little more difficult to do.
Okay.
I think what you could do is just, instead of doing this mean thing, just do the straight up, here's how many points you got. And it would tell them the points. Now, then they don't know how much percentage that is of what they need. But what you probably do is set up like a spreadsheet that just has a place for them to enter the points they've earned, and then another cell where you have like a formula to divide, and it would show them the percentage.
And Stephen, you can do that, you can do that in Excel spreadsheet, but a lot of our faculty members can't.
No, I'm just saying for Hilda's situation, it wouldn't really correspond to mine, but.
And that doesn't really help the student to know where they stand.
Well, it does, because the spreadsheet can be shared on eLearning with a little instruction.
So you'd
if
have
you want to know your current grade, enter the points you've earned here.
Oh, okay. So it's up to the student to enter it.
Because she's got the points, and if they can't figure out where that makes them stand, here. Just a thought.
I think that could work. I also give them their grade, not just through Gradebook. I usually give it to them personally, but in which case they're getting that percentage of earned points thing. But anyway, it might just be simpler for me to change my grading scheme, I'm thinking.
Okay. Well, Hilda, I am happy to sit with you and go over it. So anytime. Okay. So I'm going to move on. And so the next slide is, we'll talk a little bit about how powerful feedback is. And I think the key sentence here is feedback has a higher success rate when there is a clear goal set. The more specific the goal, the more effective it is because it produces more focus and feedback from the students. So when you're giving feedback in the gradebook, which this is capable of doing, you can, tell students what they need to work on. Be specific. I'm a firm believer in like review chapter 4, page 3. Tell them where they need to go. Tell them what they did wrong. Tell them what you think they did wrong and where they can improve. So I'm going to address now.
I'm sorry, Bonnie.
Yes.
Are you saying in the gradebook feature, in addition to them getting the numbers, you can also type in little comments for each of, I know you can on papers, on assignments, right? I know that, and obviously in journals. But you're saying in the gradebook feature itself, you can go in there and
Exactly.
type comments? Okay.
You're looking at it right now, Hilda.
Okay.
So right here on this screenshot, you can see there is a numeric grade plus a short sentence on feedback. Now you can make this much more lengthy. You can add much more feedback. But I just wanted to demonstrate it and show it on one screen so it all fit. So here's an example of some feedback. Okay. And I just want to go over on this slide a little bit about whether or not you should exclude empty grades.
It's 1 o'clock.
So in this example, there is an empty grade. You can see this student did not take the week 3 quiz. So it's empty. It has a dash line showing that it was not completed. However, because I had selected exclude empty grades, it excluded the quiz that they failed to take, and it gave the student a false sense that now they have a 90-degree category mean for quizzes. So that's not a good thing to do. We don't want them to think that they have a 90 when actually they never took this quiz. So on the next slide, it's a different category, but it shows the same thing. It shows that the student for the homework week 1, they got a 98. For week 2, they did not submit anything, so they were given a 0 because nothing was submitted. Week 3, they submitted, got an 85. So now it is telling them the true mean, which is 61%. So 98 plus 0 plus 85 equals 183. There were 3 assignments, 183 divided by 3. So the score for that percentage is 61. Okay, so it's not, if somebody doesn't submit something, in order to give them a true sense of what their average is for that category, you need to enter the 0. You can go back and change it later if they submit it, but it's important that they have and understand where they are standing.
So the e-learning will not assume that because something is no longer available and it hasn't been done, it's a 0.
No, unless you tell it include empty grades.
Ah, okay.
If you don't select exclude empty grades, then it will penalize them. But I had selected exclude, so it went by it.
Okay.
And here's another example of where I wanted it to not penalize students. So this was a flex course, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I just want to show you how I do my flex gradebook, because I have discussion forums that every student does, and then I have forums that only the fully online students do as part of their online class that the other people are meeting in class. The online people have extra work that they do. So because of COVID, I was allowing students to hop in or out. Some of them were undergoing quarantine. They couldn't come to class. they were having problems with doing a synchronous class. So I allowed them on a week-to-week basis during that initial COVID rush to take the online portion. So here's an example of a student who was blended. So he only did the assignments that he had to do. He did not do the fully online class assignments because those really weren't assigned to him. And yet, even though he has these empty things, it gave him a true reflection of his forums, which were 93.25. Okay, so it just kind of shows you sometimes you do want to exclude those empty grades for a reason.
And Bonnie, can we choose include and exclude for each type of assignment and each individual assignment, or is it for the gradebook overall?
It can be for the gradebook overall, and it can also be category by category, but not assignment by assignment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So here's another example of a student view. Before we were looking at faculty views as well. So now we're looking at a student view that gives a little bit more. It shows their overall mean for the category for homework assignments. They had a 94.67 for their final project, a 93 for their presentation, a 98, and for their final exam, and 100. So their overall course is 94.05. And you can also see the feedback that was entered for each one, for each assignment.
Bonnie, another related question.
Yeah.
If I have different kinds of quizzes, some that everybody in the class needs to take and others that only those that are fully online, not those who are blended coming, right? Again, I'm talking about a flex course like you were. So if I've got two different kinds of quiz, those that need everyone take, and then those that only a portion of them take, can I create two different categories of quizzes?
Yeah, you just kind of have to be creative because at the end of the day, for both sets of students, it has to add up to 100%.
Right.
So I try to find light categories, like sometimes a faculty member will have class participation for their blended students that's worth like 5%. So now they have to find something that's worth 5% for their online students because there's got to be some equality. So I've never been stumped by it. I just sometimes have to be a little bit more creative. Sometimes I make more general categories and put different things in it for different sections of the class. But there is a way to do it. You just have to really be creative. Okay, so I think if that is how your gradebook needs to be, we can find a way to do it. Okay.
Thank you.
Bonnie, this is Mark. Quick question. On each assignment, like I collect homeworks and I grade them out of 10 points, right? So if they get an 8 out of 10, but when I put the assignment in, I put an 80 because it's pretty much forcing me to grade it out of 100. So is that what I'm seeing here on this slide, that everything has got to be out of 100?
Yeah, well, everything right here is graded out of 100, but that's because I told the gradebook that's the scale that I want to use. I want to use 0 to 100.
Okay.
But you can set up your individual assignments to be worth 10 points, and then you just give the student an 8. So it will tell them 8 out of 10, but it will flip it. It will say 8 out of 10, but it will tell the student that 8 out of 10 is an 80%.
Okay, so you can have that option. That's good.
Right.
Okay.
But
great.
I always tend to work on 0 to 100, and because, like I said before, you give a student a 38, they think they did bad.
Yeah.
So even though it's 38 out of 38, they think they did bad. So.
Okay.
Okay, so we've been in this gradebook that we've been looking at assignments that were already created. But when you create an assignment, if you have already created the categories, then as you create the assignment, you can tell it what category to go in. So if you already have a category on discussion forums and you're making a discussion forum, under here, you would tell it, instead of not categorized, you would tell it what category to go in. Okay? So that's really all I wanted to go over for now. Now we can kind of jump into really looking at the gradebook. So we have how many people here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 people, 13 people. So how about if we make some breakout sessions and you guys share your screens with one another and go into that course. I have a link in the chat box. And try to move some of the items into a category. So let's start by creating categories. I think I'm going too fast. So I'm going to create a category live in live time with you. So you'll see what I mean.
We're not seeing your screen now.
You should be.
Now we are. Now we're seeing your blue jeans, and here we go.
Okay, so Stephen.
Gotcha.
I don't think I had you in here. I'm going to put you in here. Whoops, wrong Steve.
I'm a PH.
Oh, that's why I won't find you. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is create a category. So I'm going to go to grades. I'm going to go to setup. I'm going to go to setup course. Oh, no, sorry. Gradebook setup. I'm going to scroll to the bottom and I'm going to add the category. Quizzes, 5%. I'm going to change it to the mean of grades. I'm going to keep it at exclude empty grades, just so you'll see. Down here, the weight. I'm going to do 0.05 and save changes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
What's the difference between means of grade and weighted means of grade?
Weighted mean is what you want to do for the overall course, which
Okay.
because that's telling it to take the weighted mean. So, so for instance, when I said I had the final project, that is actually worth 50%, but I had it broken down to 20% for the presentation and 30% for the paper. So I could make a category that said weighted mean, and then I could make a subcategory for the mean, 20% for the presentation, 30% for the paper.
Okay.
But we want to, at the course level, so here's the course level, Gradebook 101, edit settings. We want to make sure it says weighted mean of grade. Now we have down here, quizzes, 5%, and we want to change it to be 0.05% and save. So now I want to move those weeks, those quizzes into that category. So I can do it in bulk. Right over here, where these little boxes are, I can check them. I want to move these 3 quizzes into the category that's at the bottom, quizzes. So I click those little boxes next to them, and now I tell it, move selected items to, and I choose quizzes, 5%. Okay, well, we only have 15 minutes left, so in the interest of time, instead of going into breakout sessions, how about if we have one volunteer that volunteers to go into this course and create a category and move things around?
I'll do it, Bonnie.
Okay.
Go right in.
While he goes in, I do have a question.
Okay.
I think I once raised this with you before, although I've never, as you know, I haven't used Gradebook, but in many of my courses, I have a scenario where something gets dropped. So if they take a series of quizzes, they take, say, 10 quizzes, but only the 8 best count. Or, so the lowest thing goes away. In many other cases, and it's the same cases, I'll have extra credit built into things. So if they're taking an exam, they could, in theory, earn up to, say, 110 or 120% on it. I do that because basically nobody does, But I don't see. I was just tinkering with this in the last couple of minutes, and no matter what I do, it does seem to set everything back to 100%. And I also don't see a way of. So there's no way of doing extra credit, but I also don't see a way of pre-programming it to tell it, here's what you delete.
You can delete here. When I worked with a faculty member last semester, she dropped the 7 lowest assignments,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a way to do that. Okay.
Okay.
There is a way to do extra credit. Again, you're getting into really advanced gradebook, and I would rather just keep this particular session for those who aren't using the gradebook, just like the simplest way to use it.
No,
and set
fair
it
enough, but that's why I'm not using it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just for future reference.
Yeah.
That's why I've never used it.
I would love to.
Okay.
I would love to meet with you one-on-one and go over it. It's just that you're really drilling down, and you can do it, but it's a little more advanced. So I don't want to lose the other 10 people who just want to know how to set up a gradebook. Okay, so who was going to jump in?
That was me, Scott.
Oh, Scott, did you do it already?
I did, but I did one small thing wrong, so I've got a question on how to fix that.
Okay, would you share your screen so everybody can see?
Oh, sure. Let's see
So
what I got to do. Okay.
At the top of the screen, there's like
Yep.
a screen. Click that.
And Chrome. Okay, are we there?
Yep.
Okay. So I added category homework.
Okay.
And I realized I did 2 things wrong now. I forgot to set the value of it.
Okay.
So that I can set here, right?
Right, just 15, and make sure you save it. 0.15, right?
Yeah,
And make
0.15.
sure you save it.
Save there. So what I didn't do is something that you showed us, which I thought was really good, and I never think to do, is in my title of the category, I didn't indicate the weight.
Right.
So how do I go back and edit my category label?
Far right-hand side, you'll see edit.
Okay.
So click that.
When I clicked that before, all I got was the hide option. Maybe it was because it hadn't been saved all the way yet. So I did edit settings. Okay, there we go.
Change it to homework 15%, and then save.
Quick question there.
Yes.
Could you go back, Scott? So I just wanted to confirm, because between what you said on the slide, he wants mean of grades, not weighted mean of grades for aggregation.
Correct. Only at the course level do you want weighted.
Only at the course level. Got it.
Okay. So did I pass, Bonnie?
You passed. Anybody else want to try? Hilda, do you want to try?
I'm afraid if I try and I mess it up and my classes are going that.
Oh, this is my course. I sent a link to my course.
Oh, it's in the email?
It's in the
In the chat box.
chat box. Thank you.
Oh, in the chat box. Okay. Okay, so and then I have to share.
Hmm.
Okay. Where's the share? The share this, yeah, screen. Got it. Okay. What do I click once I hit share screen? Click here to, oh, just the top part. Okay. Am I sharing?
Yep.
So I don't do blue jeans, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not good at blue jeans either. Don't feel bad. I'm a Google Meet girl.
It's making me sign in. I don't know. I wasn't a good choice here.
That's okay. No, I'd rather you do it and we go through it so you kind of see it a little more.
I hope I'm not doing any typos in my name because it's covered by the pictures.
You got it.
Okay. Right, so this is our fake course book. Okay,
Correct.
so we go here, we find grades.
Right?
Oh, but we're already.
Nope, you're not. Select grades. There you go. Then
I'm a slow learner, Bonnie.
that's
I
okay.
have to look at my notes.
So the first
Okay,
thing
then
we
I'm
need to
looking
do is
for.
set up. The first thing we need to do is click setup.
Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Okay, and then.
So scroll to the bottom and create a category discussion forums. So add a category.
I don't see where it says. Oh, no. Yes, there. Okay. All right. So, discussion forum.
And then type 15%.
Oh, okay. 15%.
15%. Okay, then from aggregation, you want to tell it the mean of grades.
Already hit save. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay, we'll go back. So go down to your category and edit it. So change it from natural.
How do I get your pictures, these pictures to go away? I can't.
You can move them.
Trying. Oh, there. There we go. All right. So here I'm doing.
Change it from natural to mean.
Oh, here. Mean of grades.
Right, and then save.
Okay.
Okay, so now
I need to type in that 1.5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it should be down at the bottom, right? Because it's the newest thing created. And then edit here.
No, you don't even have to edit. You just type
Okay.
right in the box. Yep. 0.15 and press save. Okay, now let's move the discussion forums in there. So anything that says rating grade for week 1 forum, right.
Wait, didn't you select final project?
I did?
Yeah, let's go back
Yeah.
up. Maybe I missed it because it went quickly. I thought I saw you click final project. Keep going up.
Yep.
Final project.
Unclick that one.
So, am I right? You don't want that? Go down. It's the
Correct.
last check.
I
It's the
put
last
the final project, one of the final project portions of it is in the forum. So for that one, you can.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. I just saw final project. Good. Okay, it's good to go then, I guess.
Okay.
All right, so then I come down here and I choose no selected items to discussion forums. And then, okay,
Right.
yay.
Do you have to save again? Do you have to
Oh.
save again after continue, Bonnie, or no?
Nope. After continue, you're good.
You're good. Okay.
Okay,
Any-
so I'm done.
Anybody else want to jump in and try moving something?
I used to do that manually. Oh my God. That's so good. Okay.
How do I
Brenda,
get you guys expanded again? And this,
that's because you stopped sharing.
oh, stop sharing.
I think.
Bonnie, quick question.
Yeah.
If I have a week hidden, will the activities that are in that week, which are also hidden, they're only hidden for the students. As far as Gradebook's concerned, they'll show up when I'm putting Gradebook together, correct?
They won't see them, but you will.
And so Gradebook will too.
Gradebook will, but at a setting, you can say not to include it.
Right, but I just wondered, so he set it up at the beginning of a course and some of the weeks haven't been opened yet for the students, but that won't affect setting up Gradebook.
Right.
Got it.
And they won't see it. They only see what is open to them in the Gradebook.
No, I know. Yes. What I meant was I won't be missing forums or quizzes or anything else because they're closed to students.
Correct. You won't
Got
be.
it.
Okay. Anybody else want to try? Camille? Mark?
Mark, Camille.
Okay. So I'm just going to do a quick put everything in the right area. So I just need to refresh. So I'll pick up Hilda's. So this is what I kind of do when I build a gradebook. I say, okay, what's missing? So this final exam needs to go someplace. So I move it. We didn't create the area yet. So final exam and percent mean of grades. So now I can move it into final exam. Make sure that I've entered it. So that's basically what I do. I make sure that all the categories are created, that every assignment has a category. You'd be surprised how many times I'm building somebody's course and they have a category of final exam, but then I look through the syllabus and there's no final exam assigned. Or so it's a good way to make everything sync, make everything agree with one another.
Also, Bonnie, when you categorize it like this, when the students see their grade form, they see all the quizzes together and all the assignments together, etc., right?
Right. So it's nice and neat, and it kind of makes sense. They see then when you said final, quizzes worth 10%, they see them all stacked together with a final score there at the bottom for that category.
Hey, Bonnie, I want to show them something real quick.
Okay.
All right. Because I do know that some people like myself use like a lot of points, right? Like 500 points, and there'll be five quizzes. They're 10 points each, and so on and so forth. There is a way to get the system to add up those points.
Yes.
So instead of you, the way I was doing it was I will download the Excel, the grades in Excel, and then add it on Excel. But there is a way where the system will add up the points for you, and I could show you that real quick. Share my screen. What do you see now?
I see your grade book.
Okay. So what I was doing was you go similar to what Bonnie had said, right? You go to add category. Then let's say quizzes. And then the way my math worked out, it came out to 19%. So, and that kept natural, right? That's going to
Yep.
that's going to take the sum of what the grade is, right? So I have quizzes that are 10 points each. You get an 8, right? And then the other one you get a 10 out of 10. So when you add the way it will show your grade book, it will be 18, right? So you do exactly what Bonnie said, but instead of picking the weighted means, you go natural and go save changes. Right? And then you do the same thing, right? You check the ones on the side, right? The check box, and then you move them, and then you go down and move them under quizzes, right? Which we know we've gone that far. I already did it, so if you see right above here, you see quizzes 19%, and then you see all the quizzes, and then on max grade it tell you 10. That's the highest you could get, right? So when you go to view Gradebook, when you can see your students' grades, you see somebody here got a 9 out of 10. And then if you go to the end of the quizzes, you see a 9 right there. Right? So let's say I wanted to input that the person got a 10 out of 10 myself. Like I'll just do that they got a 10 out of 10. You see how the total changes to a 19? Right? So and then let's look at week 12 and they say they got a 7 out of 10. And then it goes up to 26, right? So I just figured this out like, right before the workshop. So for me, it helps that at the end of everything, I can see the sum of the students. So by the I have 12 quizzes and they're all worth 10 points. It's 120 points in total. If they get a perfect score in all the quizzes, the last number there, the total number, will be 120 points. It just makes it easier when it comes to grade. So I know not everybody does a 0 to 100 grading scale. So this will allow you to make your grading easier if you don't use that scale.
That works really well for me. Thank you, Joshua. I have a question sort of related to Stephen's extra credit. What if in the end you wanted to give a little extra credit? And you said the quiz was worth 10 points. Would it allow you to override it and go in and type in 103 points? 13 points? Will it let you override? Do you know?
Yeah, so I've never done it. So on top of my head, if you make an assignment, an extra credit assignment, you could add it yourself, and then it would add those points to that student, right?
Okay.
Without negatively affecting the other students, right? Because it's extra points.
Right.
Okay. If you do the average, then it's going to hurt the other students if they didn't do the extra credit because it's going to take in those values and divide it by the number of assignments.
Thanks.
Let me share this.
Okay, so we are at our 1:33 time. Does anybody have a question, or does anybody want to show a specific problem that they're having in their grade book?
This was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very helpful.
Hilda, I look forward to working with you and making your grade book beautiful. So you don't have to download Excel and put in formulas.
Bonnie, if I try and implement some of this with my own gradebook, would it be possible for me to email you and then you take a look at what I did to see if you notice anything that I had done wrong?
Yep, I'd be happy to.
Thank
Bonnie,
you.
can we use this fake gradebook? Will that still be available?
Yes, you guys are in this class as teachers. If you want to play around with anything in there, you go right ahead.
Oh, great. Thank you.
And just so in conclusion, what I'd really like to stress is the importance of feedback, that students know where they stand, that we know how to encourage them in a positive way. I was always told that always start your critique of an assignment with what they did well. And, sometimes I'm grabbing for straws and I'm just saying, you picked an excellent topic. Like that was the best I could come up with that was positive. But I always try to start with a positive critique and then point out some things that were wrong and then point out some ways that they can improve them.